It's a special time of year, and Dunkin' Donuts is dressing up their donuts for the occasion.
And here's the werewolf.
So come to Dunkin' Donuts and get into the spirit of Halloween.
We'd like some Halloween donuts, please.
Oh, of course.
Happy Halloween 2014. The first year we did a Halloween episode, it was just Aaron and I sitting in a study room reviewing the Halloween films that I watched that year.
Yep.
The following year, last year, it was us three, Nina, Frankie, and John.
Yeah.
Because Aaron had gone absent in our lives as he dips in and out. Now he has a little bit more of a legit reason. This is the first episode that he's in Seattle firmly.
Lives far, far away.
But
do they have Halloween in Seattle?
No.
I don't know. I was there for about a week and they didn't say anything about it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's banned.
But last year we did Haunted Hunts Food Fuck Ups.
We did, yeah. I remember it.
We loosely tied the holiday to food experiences.
Honestly, it was a pretty weak link. You know, I'm not going to lie to you people.
It was a little shoehorned in there.
I remember it got kind of cool though. We started talking about that death at the Burger King and stuff.
Yeah, the Burger King.
And,
talking about,
and the murder at the OCB.
Yeah, the murder buffet.
So those the murder buffet.
Don't go anywhere you just shouldn't eat. If you shouldn't eat the food because it's bad for you, there will probably be a murder there.
Yeah.
So this year, as usual, a very common theme on Hawaii is food. Food you should be eating, food you shouldn't be eating. I have a number of Halloween topics, but we should first talk about the snackage
All right.
that Nina provided. What am I eating here, Nina?
You are eating a vegan peanut butter cream brownie, and I did not provide the other one.
Is the use of the cream, the term cream, permitted in the vegan, in the selling of vegan goods?
Well, it is because you can do coconut cream,
Sure.
and you can do cashew cream.
Oh,
and
cashew cream.
Cream can be
Cream
produced.
of cashew.
Yep. Kind of like the milks, kind of like almond milk. And
Fascinating.
You can do cashew milk. You can do hemp milk.
Yeah.
Soy milk.
And what is John eating?
Oh, all right.
Johnny is eating a delicious pecan square, which is basically pecan
wicked
pie
good.
in square form.
So good.
And you're not bothered by its non-veganism.
No, I have no. It's great.
It tastes like sugar, molasses, and pecan.
Yeah.
And
I really like the crust,
A
too.
shockingly buttery crust, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You made the point before we popped on the mics that vegan food tends to be like created with more care because they need it to taste good.
Yeah.
And so
Well, you can't just use the standard old recipes. You have to like test the recipe, make sure it's going to come out right, make
Yeah.
sure you use the right substitutes.
we got a coffee for Nina maybe 10 minutes ago from Dunkin' Donuts, who now serve with almond milk.
Brand new, and not all of them, but more and more of them in New England.
So she's back to Dunkin' Donuts, and we were
After years away.
we were staring at their brownie, which I have had before.
Yep.
It's lousy.
Yeah.
It tastes like I don't know, like cheap fudge.
Yeah.
Kind of falls apart.
But it's
on
the
you.
manager's special every single day. It's special every day. The manager decreed it.
But this vegan peanut butter brownie is better than even I mean.
Well, I mean, also, I assume that this stuff was a little spendy, right? A little spendy.
oh, how much per brownie?
A couple bucks a brownie.
That's too much.
It's it's a little bit more than if you just went to a regular bakery. But once you go out to a bakery where you're buying a pastry, like buy the pastry, that does kind of get pricey anyway.
We also, while we were in the Dunks, we saw their their Halloween spread of donuts.
Yes, yes.
One of which was like just a straight up pumpkin, which appeals to me.
It does. It appealed to me, too.
Yeah. John and I agreed that we kind of just wanted to buy the donut just to sort of look at it.
Yeah.
And have it around. We didn't really want to eat it.
That's more like why you decorate for Halloween, not
It's
why
really
you eat certain foods.
It's on my that was on my least favorite kind of donut, which is the non-cake donut. I am not a cake donuts. I love non-cake donuts. I'll pass. I'd leave it in the box.
That one was cream filled. How do you feel about filled donuts? The Boston cream, the Bavarian cream, the regular cream, the jelly, chocolate cream.
I don't like any of Dunkin' Donuts ones of those. I like if you're gonna fill it with like real cream, like real whipped Bavarian cream. But what they do is they fill it with pudding that's flavored like those.
Well,
things.
even their like Boston cream, all of their creams are spelled Kreme,
yes.
so that you know that's not actually cream,
no
that it's
cream.
just
Creme.
chemical.
Creme. Would you like a creme donut?
The vegan stuff is way closer to cream than
Yeah.
the chemicals in Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
Well, speaking of decorations, which is really what we would only use those donuts to decorate.
Exactly.
John was admiring Nina's decoration. We are sitting in a spooky household right now.
Yes. I actually love it. I actually, it's one of my favorite. It's I don't have any Halloween decorations. I've tried a couple times to buy a few, and it doesn't really work out. Because you got to reach critical mass. You know,
You have to have a theme.
yeah, you must have like a whole box. Like, do you have more Halloween stuff than you have Christmas stuff?
No,
Is
probably
that
not.
as a question?
I have probably 4 to 6 totes of Christmas stuff. But granted, ornaments take up a lot of space, the tree trimming stuff. And then I probably have 3 totes of Halloween stuff.
Pretty close.
It's a pretty good amount.
But it's amazing. It always looks awesome.
We were
like
thinking
a
about
Halloween
doing
theme.
we did one episode of a potential web series called What's in Junt's Cart, where we follow John to stores and watch him shop. Maybe you get some shopping tips.
Absolutely. I got lots of them.
And we were thinking about doing a Thanksgiving special that is Halloween clearance.
I would love to. That'd be so much fun. But the thing about Halloween clearance, I'll give you a little preview right now.
Yeah.
You gotta go the very next day. You can't wait 2 days.
Because it goes.
It goes.
Yeah. So where would
Well,
we hit?
I think we should do a few things. I think we should go the next day. That's where you're going to get the best stuff.
Yeah.
For 50 to 70% off.
Yeah.
You go 2 to 3 weeks later.
Yep.
There's absolute shit left, but it is 90% off. I would like to do. I think we should do a 2-parter with John.
So I can tell you my preferred locations.
Yeah. Where would we go?
Walmart. Because they're infamous for just halving the price on everything the next day. Target has stopped doing that. Target doesn't do that anymore.
Target's stingy with the
You get
discounts.
30% at Target.
Well, you got to be careful that you're not dissuading people from buying Halloween things during the season.
I guess that's true.
You don't want to make
But the season's over. You know?
You don't want to make November 1st so appealing that you only ever do your Halloween shopping for the next year.
Yeah. And I'd really love to go to Kmart to see their Halloween.
That's a fantastic idea.
Because
And we could go in there with professional cameras and no one would notice.
nobody would care. We could bring a 30-man production crew and they'd be like, oh, someone's in our store.
Hi, welcome. Can we make you happy?
Yeah, can we sell you a thing?
We could have done this podcast from there, and
Yeah.
A, it would be spooky as shit, and B, no one would notice we were there
We
doing
wouldn't
a
have
podcast.
gotten hassled like we did at the Olive Garden.
I know it's a little bit off topic, but you can actually rent in any Sears or Kmart store. You can rent temporary space to come in and do an event.
Really?
For almost no money, like $100.
Like you just go like women's lingerie, you just rent that.
Set up a table. It could be your department for a couple hours.
Because I mean, like, what section are you renting?
No, I've actually gone in and seen this at Kmart.
So describe it to me as good as you can, because I can't imagine, like, there is no open space to
A lot
occupy.
of times it's like for demos. Like,
Yeah.
like products will come in and rent
Exactly.
space to demo their product.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
I could see like a wholesale store doing that.
No, but because Kmart and Sears are so desperate for any business at all, they're trying.
We could go in and sell DVDs. We could open up a little DVD.
Yeah. Do you remember when you went to Kmart on Black Friday last year?
It was so hilarious. I'd love to go again and see if it's still the case.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's the only place I would go
They
on
opened an
Black
extra
Friday.
register.
They do it just open. Out of the 6 they have.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
So we live near Fall River, Mass, where for a long time the only Kmart / Walmart lived in the same.
That's right.
Built right the
same mall.
Yeah, that's the only place in an enclosed shopping mall that had a Kmart and a Walmart at each as anchor stores.
because they didn't threaten one another whatsoever.
Yes.
You were not going to get the same clientele.
and of course, like the Walmart lot got really busy,
Yep.
really
Hugely
crazy, really
busy.
crowded, and Kmart was just lucky to get anything.
Yeah.
And I really wonder, so that Walmart has now moved out.
Yep.
And I wonder if sales at Kmart have changed whatsoever, or if the fact that Walmart left just means that people are going that much less.
Having been to the new Walmart over there, it's a freaking zoo. It's awful. I might go to Kmart more.
Yeah, I've
seriously.
gone to that Kmart to pick up stuff I need on the way through that area.
Yeah.
That's why I've gone. It does always shock me what's
Yeah.
inside there.
I have gone to Kmart when I need one specific thing. If I need like several things, I might go to Walmart or Target. But I needed, we got a new queen size bed.
Yeah.
And I decided to be a cheapskate, but I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yep.
And I just got queen fitted sheets, and I'm using the old king size everything.
Sure.
Because it's not
Yeah.
like it's too huge.
It's not that big.
But I went to just go buy single fitted queen size sheets, and I said, where would I go for that? And I thought Kmart. For some reason.
They have them at Walmart too.
I think it's because they used to do the Martha Stewart line, and I think
Yeah.
Kmart bedding. For some reason, that still
What
got
always
me.
bugs me is like I expect to go in there and A, be treated like a king, and B, I expect amazing prices on things.
Yeah.
And they have lame prices.
Yeah.
And you're greeted by
lame
the
service.
crypt keepers.
Their
The
sales,
retail universe.
Kmart has a lot of sales that bring their prices to Walmart prices.
Yeah.
And if you buy the items on sale, you're getting the same price you
But
get
they
at Walmart.
actually do have fairly impressive clearance sections.
They do.
Like entire aisles in each department.
And they
are
will be
clearance.
real solid deals.
Yeah.
And I will vouch for Kmart on that fact.
I've gotten a bunch of stuff from Kmart that I just wanted to try. That
Yeah.
I was like, I've thought about buying this in the past, but I never had. But now it's so cheap, maybe I will.
Yep.
Well, John thought that you had a Christmas wreath up over there, but it's
I
really
did.
a Halloween wreath.
No, it's got pumpkins, and the wreath itself is black, and it's got purple and orange and green.
I think, at first glance, now that I look at it closely, I can see, I think with some lights on it, like some orange lights, it would really drive the point home.
Daylight, you see it better. This is more of a daylight decoration.
okay. I
Some
see.
of the other decorations are better at night.
Nina, of course, slings cobwebs over our family photos.
Oh, I love it.
Implying that, we are dead. and
And our
the
house
pictures-
has been left to disrepair.
which is one thing I wanted to talk about, which is how fucking weird of a holiday this truly is.
Yeah.
When you think about it, we have a culture of certainly we have a Republican right in the country, or religious right that has issues with vulgarity and violence in the media.
We also spend a lot of time denying death. People are very uncomfortable with it in this
Yep.
culture. It's not like an everyday thing.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of afraid of their own mortality.
We're extremely there's a lot of parent groups and stuff that are really conscious of make sure you're communicating what content is in that show or in that movie, bar off children from going through this area of the store
Yep.
or whatever. Halloween is the one time a year where all bets seem to be off.
Yep.
There is a store which, first of all, I should say hilariously occupies the old Circuit City.
Which is
That
scary
store.
in and of itself.
Is it open?
There's like a
Is it-
band.
is there again this
Halloween's
year?
been open for a while, yeah.
Yep.
For about a month.
Have you been over?
We have, and every year I have the same reaction because it's a really fun store. Spirit Halloween, I'm sure
Pop-up Halloween store.
I'm sure every city has one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pop up Halloween store. But they haven't it was back when the Circuit Cities were designed to look like a giant AC plug, like a big red AC plug, and then they started re-outfitting them, and then they closed.
Yes.
This one never got re-outfitted.
Yup.
So it's a giant red AC plug with like a poster that says Spirit Halloween.
Yes.
And you go in.
Like draped over the Circuit City like letters.
It is so gruesome in there. There are not in the back area, not in the porn
Right up
section.
front.
You walk in and there's a decapitated head with bolts barbed wire wrapped around the skin.
Yep.
With bolts on the neck.
Yeah.
Holding it from the ceiling. The
Yep.
man's face in pain.
There's zombie babies eating rats.
And somehow,
children.
we can just say, the parents can just say, it's just make believe.
not
make-"
even.
They want to scare the shit out of them.
Yeah. And then they laugh
want
when
to
the kid
traumatize the
cries.
kid.
Yeah.
They
They're like-
laugh when the child is crying.
Touch the giant. Go ahead, touch the giant mutant rat. Or it's such
weird.
an incredible time of the year where we walk around laughing at mortality.
Yeah.
And then there's the sexual element too, which because I would like to be able to make the point of we're totally fine with the violence, but we have a real issue with the sex. No,
Yeah.
the sex is right out in front too.
Right there.
It's every single costume, man and woman.
There's actually, I saw this really cool, interesting graphic in which they compared the ages of a nurse costume. So they had a picture of a nurse costume for a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and by the 13-year-old one, it's getting a little sexy.
It's getting a little
and
risque.
by the adult one, it's they're all completely just sex
Nude.
Yeah, and the Red Devil one's the same way. Starts off all covered, little toddler, right up. It's
My
amazing.
favorite is the way they have to, the challenges that these costume companies have in sexualizing licensed characters.
Yep.
So the first thing you have to do is de-license it and then sex it up.
Yes.
It's a 2-phase process.
Distance and sexualize. Distance and sexualize.
De-license and sexualize. I've been seeing this year a lot of Mario and Luigi's that are not Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
They're plumbers.
They're
Plumber brothers?
Plumber brothers. Or plumber sisters.
And then they become sexy plumber
They
brothers.
become plumber
Sexy
sisters.
plumber brothers.
Lesbian plumber brothers. And yeah, Walking Dead has become a really huge thing.
Yeah.
Because now we have this show in the zeitgeist that is the most popular show on cable TV. Did you know that?
I did not.
there are giant Walking Dead sections in every Halloween store I've been to. And it's kind of weird. It's like it's a pretty gruesome show from time to time. Like they're really like kicking the shit out of zombies.
Yep.
But like wives and moms and stuff are like kind of like okay with it. It's like a weird. I heard somebody the other day say it's like a gateway into like harder horror. I don't know why people are having an easy time with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And not with other stuff. But I'll tell you, Nina and I have watched every episode of that show up to this point. It's 4 seasons worth because we liked the first season a lot.
Yeah.
And then we
kind of fall apart after that, though.
Like, yeah, after the first 6 episodes, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard to watch a show with no end game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like they're really so far 4 seasons in, there is only the slightest hint of like there's a character that's interested in bringing a cure to the government.
Oh lordy!
Only now is there a little bit of.
I'm kind of done with TV like that. That's like, oh, we'll just run this idea until it doesn't make any sense anymore, and then wrap it up in 2 episodes when we don't get any more money.
I mean, like every story needs to arc.
Yep.
And you need, even if it's a long form story, you need to feel the arc over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's nothing arcing whatsoever. You are watching human beings die.
Yep.
And like, if the argument is, well, that's what it would be like in the, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I want to watch a story.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch a story about the apocalypse, but not like all these mini stories about like this is how Daryl dealt with his horniness in the woods.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck the story is.
Oh my God.
And it is like the ratio of good episode to bad episode is like 1 to 6.
Oh man.
See, it really reminds me of Battlestar Galactica in that way, where it just started going on and it was like. I know we've bitched a blue streak about this, but like the mutiny episode.
Yeah,
now we see one ship.
I don't think we ever talked about it on the podcast. Though. We watched all of that Battlestar show. Yeah. Did you ever watch it?
I gave up. I started strong and then I faded.
Well, they had that nice mini series that
great.
In
I
and
love
of
the
itself
miniseries.
had a arc.
Yep.
But
season 1 I watched. Season 2 I was like, okay.
They do this thing where like and Walking Dead's not even doing this.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to hint that you have a grand design for your show than it is to have a grand design for your show.
Yes. All you got to do is drop a couple clues like,
and it's just enough to be like, I got to watch the fucking next one because they're on
to miss one.
I think one of the great pleasures of watching good television is the trust that the writers of the show are way smarter than you. Because that you can't figure out how complex and wonderful the show is, which again is partly why I liked Breaking Bad. Was they always were smarter than me, and yet I always knew what was going to happen. Yep, I knew something bad was going to happen.
You just didn't know what.
I just didn't know how, or I didn't know the journey, but I knew the destination.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember like in Battlestar, they were driving towards the end, and they like the grand. Plot of that show is they're looking for Earth.
Yep.
And they pretty much find it. Yeah. And then but it's like abandoned and desolate and they can't inhabit
there
it.
are angels.
Bam, angels.
And then suddenly they're
sorry, spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Get on it.
They're like it did indeed spoil the fucking show.
Too late.
But
that was one of the spoilers of the show.
I remember they had 10 episodes after that giant revelation. Yeah. And I was like, damn, this is going to be 10 hour-long shows driving towards the end. There's not much time to do a lot of work. And they spent 6 of those episodes with like a mini story about a mutiny. And I was like, this is not good.
That's not good.
My favorite part of that show was because they so clearly were unraveling the story as they wrote. Yep. Which other shows did? Breaking Bad did the same thing. They just figured out a way to.
They just connected the dots like hell.
They figured because they didn't They always found a way to use something they already set up. Yep. They're like, we already did something interesting with this character. Let's bring them back in.
Well, because I think all the writers were fans, so they remembered all these episodes and all these people. It felt like just guest writer. This person wrote this episode of Battlestar, and this person wrote this.
But they released like a straight to DVD movie after the whole thing was done.
Oh, really?
And they were like, it's called The Plan, and it's all from the Cylon's point of view. And basically, all they did was
and it's there to insult you as a viewer.
They took Cylon characters that were introduced later in the series, and claimed that they were in the room next door in earlier scenes in the show. And they were like, well, no, seriously, they were in the room next door plotting
the whole time.
And I remember that my favorite was like. they wanted to have a Cylon character decide not to kill a human.
Yeah.
It's like a big like Cylon moment. And they took footage from the show, like, like production camera footage. And they put like a sniper special effect on it. And now suddenly it's through his telescope. Like, give me a fucking break.
Oh my
You
God.
remember and loved this scene. Well,
This was
from
like
a different angle.
a direct to garbage bin film.
Yeah. Direct to garbage.
It just shows up in your garbage one day.
But fuck The Walking Dead. Anything else about Spirit Halloween? Let's see. It's just goddamn gruesome. There's a lot of imagery of children eating things they shouldn't eat.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
I think that one in particular.
Demon children, zombie children,
Yep.
Eating their own
dismembered
foot off.
children,
Maybe I should go take a look at this place.
demon children. Yeah.
Really crazy stuff. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, the designs are hilarious. And
Yeah.
it's funny in general, but
Whatever happened to a good old chicken costume or that horse costume where two people need to be in it and someone's gonna be the
somebody
ass?
has
I
to
think
be the
that's
butt.
still there. But I think Giant Condom outsells that.
or like the couple's costumes where like he's the male plug and she's the female plug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
fuck.
Very cute.
One's ketchup, one's mustard.
Yeah. Look, I've got a cake here on my plate. And,
Yeah. So
The cake I did not supply. That's not vegan.
here's the thing.
It might be vegan. I don't know. I didn't look the
We've talked on this show before about how Hostess cupcakes went out of business. At one
Hostess
point.
with the mostess.
Yeah.
And then it came back.
Yep.
But here's who never went away from your heart. Little
Yeah.
Debbie.
Little Debbie.
Little Debbie is the
Let me
hostess
tell
with
you,
the ghostess.
maybe you should set it up a little more, but I'm not very impressed by this effort by Little Debbie right here.
Well, I remember in your room specifically, John,
Yes.
you used to buy these. I mean, I want to say at the time it was $1 for a whole box.
Yeah, it was. Don't think it's very much more now.
A box of like 6 double cake packages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like
what
you
is
can
it?
get 12 cakes for $1.
Yeah, that's what it was. No, it was more than that. It was. You get 10 cakes for $1. I'm sorry, 10 cakes for
That
$1.
seems about right. So they are
It's not much more. It was like $2.99.
they are
really?
what's the shape here? Is this isn't quite a trapezoid?
That's too much.
A hexagon.
It's a hexagon shape.
Yeah.
I was gonna say sorry, David.
Wrong holiday.
But it's considered this is the Halloween themed one.
And it's such pathetic. I mean, look, all they had to do to start production on the Halloween ones was like pull a lever that changed the color of the jimmies. That's so sad. You had so much opportunity. You could have made them orange and put
pumpkin
green
face.
sprinkles on. That would have been cool. You could have made them round. I know they changed the shape for Christmas. Why the
Pumpkin
fuck
shapes?
couldn't you do it for this? I'm just really
I
disappointed.
gotta tell you, when I'm in
They're
Stop
really phoning it in.
when I'm in Stop and Shop and I walk by Little Debbie Halloween cakes, I'm like, I need to put those in me right now.
Now the Little Debbie Halloween cakes intrigue me with you because you went with
I like the Christmas tree shake
vanilla flavor as opposed to the chocolate ones.
Yeah, I think by
I never
default,
got the I never got the chocolate ones.
Oh, that's why it's a historical decision.
I don't think anybody ever got the chocolate.
Oh no, the vanilla ones were always the way to go.
Yeah, just rich kids.
They also look like they've gotten smaller to me too, but everything has really in grocery.
In grocery. Well, I say we
I haven't had
salute.
one of these in a while.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right, I'll say.
Oh, it's grotesque. there's a distinct.
It's good as it used
I mean,
to
it's
be.
not
Chewing
grotesque.
sound.
I mean, it tastes delicious.
It's way too sweet. My my taste for sweet things has I'm not as into super sweet things as I used to be.
Yeah.
And this is really sweet. Like Jesus Christ. Tone
But
down
in
the
John's
sugar.
old bedroom, you could find one of these under the computer desk, in the microwave,
But it
in,
does pretty much taste just
on,
like it used to.
like on top of a DVD player.
It's
they
probably
were always
it's-
out of the box.
It's probably like circa 1998.
When do you
Whenever
think,
you were
when do
eating
you
the other
think
ones.
this cake was manufactured?
Oh, this cake? Not more than 30 days ago.
Well, there you have it.
It's tasty.
They're not good for you.
It wasn't as good as the pecan thing I had earlier. This is like hitting my hunger with a sledgehammer, like a sledgehammer of sugar. Whereas that was like coaxing it with a paintbrush.
Well, these things
With
are,
a panache.
these things are pretty much guilty of like America's obesity.
Yeah.
They're just way too much sugar.
I don't buy these anymore. I haven't
These
bought
things
them
are
in years.
dessert Doritos.
I got there's something about these fucking like Christmas tree cakes, fall cakes. I want to eat these Little Debbie things around the holidays and really no other time.
Yeah, is that my fault? Did I do that?
I think that when you had them, I was like, damn, he knows how to live.
It's living.
That's how I feel about the holiday donuts. Like talking about like the pumpkin donut. Like to me, like the damn Dunkin Donuts commercial where like he shows up and brings the donuts and like there are zombies.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas ones and like the green
That Halloween
and
commercial
red.
may be one of my favorites. The time they make the donuts one, where he gets like it's that little that weird little Italian guy or what?
Yeah.
What ethnicity do you suppose he is? Portuguese?
Dunkin.
He's Dunkin.
Dunkin ethnicity.
He's like Fred Flintstone nationality, whatever that is.
He's Dunkish.
It's the same nationality.
You guys know what I'm talking. Who I'm talking
I do.
about, right?
Yeah, like Fred, the original Fred the baker, right?
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. By any means, like
He kind of looks like Mario. He might have been Italian.
I wouldn't call him like a charismatic mascot.
No.
Like, he was.
It was what made that advertising campaign so ingenious. He hated his job in every way.
He was somehow related to the bald original Purdue guy, not the son.
Was he really?
No. But in my history of watching, there was like the Purdue guy. There was what was it, Dave before he died, and Wendy took over from Wendy's. And then there was this Dunkin guy. There was a series of guys trying to sell me stuff.
At one time, mascots were simply middle managers.
Yes.
Middle-aged white middle managers.
We're like, come on in and eat. I don't know.
Yeah, come on, you want some food? I made it.
You know,
you
like
didn't.
the Dunkin' Donuts did not have a friendly clown.
No.
It did not. It did not have a purple grimace.
Had like a guy had to get up at 5 a.m. Time to make the donuts.
And it was your fault. Yes. You went there.
Because you had to go. You had to be there at 6 to buy your damn donuts.
The Dunkin' Donuts mascot was a soulless vessel.
And that persisted for like 30 years.
I know. They were like, well, let's go
Till
torture
the guy
him.
died.
Let's torment him with our orders. Yeah, that is such a strange branding decision to be like,
Very successful too.
our employees are unhappy.
Well, you got to remember that Dunkin' Donuts originated in this area, and maybe we're just gluttons. We like stuff
This
like that.
blue collar.
We like a little Schadenfreude, you know.
Yeah, right. Let's take pleasure in this guy's.
Yeah, in this guy's shitty job, and we'll make him get up every.
Because we hate our own jobs. The
Yeah.
only thing that we look forward to is our donuts. So make it.
Is it just me or like, was there a time when Dunkin' Donuts wasn't primarily known for its coffee?
Oh yeah, I think
It was
so.
primarily known for its donuts.
Yeah, and you served coffee because, of course.
You needed something to dunk your donut in.
But I mean, when we started getting the low fat craze, and you know nobody wants to eat fatty donuts anymore.
I remember
Do they even make the Dunkin' Donut anymore? The one with the little handle that they used to make for Dunkin'?
and you know, there's actually a really sad fact I want to talk about with regards to Dunkin' Donuts. Many Dunkin' Donuts locations that used to cook their own donuts no longer
I
do.
heard this. This is
Instead,
terrible.
they
Really?
are frozen and trucked in.
Yep.
And
the
just
bagel
From Honeydew.
defrosted. No, not from Honeydew, but just from big manufacturing warehouses.
It's crazy.
Bums.
Very sad.
You know, I got a scholarship from Honeydew Donuts.
Did you? How much?
I did. I want to say $300.
No, there you go.
Did you buy donuts?
Took you all the way through college.
Yeah, it was a free $300. I
sure.
took it. I don't know why it was Honeydew.
I got a Dunkin' Donuts one, I think.
Really?
Yeah, 400 or something, 500. I don't know.
Wow.
I got a
$500.
rock.
I
got
got
a
a
rock?
rock. That's a timely joke.
I'm doing that
got a
for
rock.
the good of this podcast.
But back to the idea of things that are too sweet. I got to talk to you about the candy corn.
All right. As a candy, you mean?
Yeah. So for one thing, candy
Man.
corn. I
It
mean,
is the shittiest candy.
yeah, it's so shitty at this point that I don't see people eating them. I see them being decorated with.
Yeah.
I see them filling vases with them to just be like, it's Halloween. Don't eat them though.
They're so gross. I don't even know who likes them.
The chocolate ones are tolerable.
Old ladies.
Yeah,
maybe.
barely. If you know what you do with those, you eat just the chocolate bit.
Yeah.
You just like nibble off whatever part is chocolate.
Not even. You decorate. You make a bunch of chocolate cupcakes, right?
Yeah.
And then you put white frosting on them.
Yep.
And then you decorate those with the chocolate candy corn.
Yeah, and then
That
they
is-
take them off and throw them away.
Exactly.
And then enjoy
Yeah.
the cupcake.
that's
Are you like suppose somebody gives you a cupcake with a candy corn stuck in the frosting? Are you like a little bit pissed off that it's there?
I might think,
you have to
it's,
put
a,
your-
it's a Halloween cupcake.
Yeah. You have to put your fingers in the frosting to get it out. Or you can suck it off and spit it out.
Probably suck it off and spit it out. Yeah.
Now,
You know, I got to say, out of anything that's introduced seasonally, that is my least favorite item.
and yet, wouldn't you be sad if a Halloween went by and you didn't see one candy corn?
No, I was going to say I really don't like
Really?
them. Yeah.
They do suck. I'll give you
Hey,
that.
what's with those weird like milk caramels that just come in the plain orange or black wrappers? Do you remember those? The weird twisty like They're like that classic candy shape.
Yeah.
Like the circle with like the twisted ends. It reminds me of, remember those potato chips that used to just come in white bags?
Yes,
potato
they
chips
were
in room?
lousy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't
You
know.
have been
I know
left
the
out.
potato chips, but I don't know what candy it is talking about.
I'm going to be Googling this. For
I will tell you, there's one more seasonal candy, and it's made with the same super sugar corn syrup material that that the candy corns are made out of. They're little pumpkins. You ever seen these?
So this is what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay. I'm preempting.
The chocolate ones are tolerable.
Yeah.
The normal ones are pretty gross.
Yeah, they are.
The pumpkin ones are fucking intolerable.
Yeah.
The pumpkin ones,
Yep.
you'll just choke on sugar.
Oh, it's awful.
They're so sick.
It's worse than eating sugar cubes. Let me tell you.
They
We could do a double-blind study. Oh yeah, I remember
Let
those.
me see if I can describe what I'm looking at here.
It's like wax paper. Like the paper was waxy.
Yep.
And yeah.
All Nina did was Google black and orange candy.
And it came up exactly what I wanted because nobody knows what the hell these things are called. I will now delve further to find you names for
They're
them.
basically just they're hard candies wrapped in
I
black
believe
and-
Brock's makes them. The
What are
same
they-
company that makes candy corn.
and they're really
seasonal.
Yeah.
they're just old lady caramel hard candies.
I've never eaten them because I thought I would die.
Well, the pumpkin ones I think are sick as hell. I have not had.
It's on the list of 10 worst Halloween candies.
You know, it was a funny story. Last year, one of the secretaries at work, one of the administrative assistants, set out a huge bowl of candy corn.
Yeah.
And no one took any. The whole
Yeah.
And at the end of the I was walking by when she was taking it off her desk, like, I wonder why nobody ate the candy corn. I thought
Everyone's
loved
on a
candy
diet.
corn. And then she threw it away. And it was kind of sad.
That's a bummer. We have a candy bowl at work as well. It is a pumpkin shaped one. It actually came from this household.
Yeah.
And we. fill
Oh,
it-
wait a minute. They're Mary Jane peanut butter kisses.
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds good.
They're
We
not.
fill. It's
Stay
a
away
pumpkin
from it.
year round. We fill it year round.
Yeah.
Because it's inviting and
But
it's welcoming. and
do you
stuff.
ever put shitty candy in it?
Well, what happens is that
For kicks.
So we have a CVS just down the street.
Sure.
And sometimes when the day is dragging a little bit, maybe we make a pilgrimage to CVS.
Yes,
We
I'm a
pick up
big
some
fan
candy.
of CVS, but go on.
Well, but you know, they have candy sales.
Sure.
You pick up some candy and the stuff that's on sale and you put it in the pumpkin. I only put good stuff in the pumpkin. And when
Hey,
I
look
do,
at
I
you.
fucking fill it. I buy
To
enough
the brim?
I buy enough candy for 1.5 pumpkin bowls.
Wow.
Here are the candies that go.
Okay.
And I'm saying
Oh, yeah, continue because I can talk about this our workplace as well, and I can compare and contrast.
But quickly, your workplace with the candy corn, the Huffington Post lists of 9 worst Halloween candies. Candy corn is number 1.
no one likes them.
By the way, Mary Jane. So apparently that's a Halloween form of Mary Jane. That like black and orange thing.
Yep.
Marijuana.
That's the second one on the list. So I'm just saying, I know what I'm talking about.
All right.
The following candies will be gone in less than 2 days.
Yeah.
By our office. Twix,
Yep.
Kit Kat.
Sure.
Kit Kats move because they're pretty like neutral.
Yeah.
Like everybody just likes
Who
chocolate.
wouldn't like
There's
a
also
Kit
a little
Kat?
bit of an addictive quality to Kit Kats. You kind of like keep snacking on them. You can't
Like
beat them.
anything that's wafer based and then also has
Oh,
the chocolate
yeah.
on top of
A
it.
little light.
Wafer nice and crunchy. That's
Those,
why to me
Keebler Fudge Shop, you know those? Oh.
to me Reese's Sticks is actually the best candy in the world.
Those are pretty good.
But so Twix, Kit Kat, small peanut butter cups,
Yep.
and bite-sized Snickers of almost any variety.
Okay.
Almost any variety. We sometimes will fill them with peanut butter Snickers,
Yep.
which I'm actually falling out of love with.
Really?
They're kind of like a little
Perhaps it's too much.
They're,
That's too much.
well, if you buy the bite-sized ones, that's pretty reasonable.
Yep.
But if you buy the normal size ones,
Like
it's
what about the fun size ones?
I think those are the fun size ones.
Well, there's like the 1 bite Milky Way and Snickers,
Those
those little
square
tiny
ones.
ones.
Square.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
square
those are
ones.
fun. Those are maybe bite size. Fun size is the one that's like 2
I'm talking
bites.
about- it's like
the
this
Halloween
big.
ones.
It's this big square of it, and it's just too damn much. But that all moves. What will happen on occasion is some jack off in the office
Yeah.
will be like, this was on sale, and
and fill it with Dum Dums.
they'll fill it with Whoppers.
And
Some
Smarties.
asshole likes Whoppers, and I'm like, you're
yeah.
gonna have to eat all of them.
I like Whoppers, but I'm the only
Whoppers
one.
is 90 is 6 on the list of those 9 worst.
They'll dump in things that aren't even work appropriate,
Necco wafers?
like lollipops. One time I decided to actually have one. I go in to like meet with my boss, and I had like this blue ass mouth, and I was like, and it was almost too big. It was like a Tootsie Pop,
Yeah.
So it was like too big for my mouth. So I had to like in order to like handle papers, like stick it in my mouth, and like it's so terrible. I was like, I need to throw this thing out. Also, Tootsie Pops are such a commitment. Like
Yeah,
you just want to go
you're
up
in
to,
for a while.
the candy bowl is often used to disarm people when they need something from me.
Yes.
So they'll kind of act like they're not asking me a question.
Yeah,
They'll walk up to the candy bowl and be like, I was kind of here for the candy, but, since you're here.
Yeah.
They kind of play that game
The
with
candy
me.
bowl is a lie.
So what they need is something to graze with quickly, like a Kit Kat. But yeah, what will happen is you'll stack good candy on top of old candy, and the old candy will sit at the bottom forever. So I start pointing out to people like a jerk. I'm like, do you see the candy that doesn't move? I want everyone to take note of it.
The full size Jolly Rancher that's sitting in the bottom forever.
Yeah. I'll start pointing those kinds of things out, and they'll be like, well, Frankie, do you really want the candy to move all that fast? Because we'll have to keep buying
This
it.
is the thing at work. So let me tell you at work the situation. We have candy bowls in every conference room. Okay, we have a big candy bowl on top of the
Where do you work? Google? Candy bowls in every conference room.
Conference
This is
room.
Genius.
And when we first started out, they had really good stuff in them. They had Kit Kats, they had Reese's, they had all kinds of stuff.
It moves.
And then it moved like you wouldn't believe the consumption of candy that 130 people can manage over the course of a week.
Yeah, we're talking only about 20 tops.
But so then they started tweaking the mix and adding only marginally popular candies. So if you want one, you're gonna have to really be in the mood for a candy. So let me tell you the lineup in these candy dishes. It's just the best.
I'm sure I wouldn't eat any of them.
Tootsie Rolls.
Yuck.
That's also on the list of most hated Halloween
Some people
candies.
like Hana was like really digging on Tootsie Rolls.
No, Tootsie Rolls are only good for Tootsie Pops, and like you said, they're not work appropriate.
Those Werther's hard candies. The grandma's
Butterscotch
ones.
kinda candies?
Yeah, Scotch candies. Root beer barrels.
Oh, I
no
used to
way.
love root beer barrels.
The hard single serve lifesavers, the big ones. Double yum bubble gum, like the stuff that you chew for 8 seconds and that has no flavor.
The stuff that's yellow
Yes.
and blue, yeah.
And the stuff that actually you still see them in rarely, Laffy Taffy, which people will actively go in and pull
Yeah,
out.
Laffy Taffy's the best of that mix.
They'll
you
actually
just
throw
said.
it out.
Yeah, and they'll take it out.
Take it out.
and
Yeah.
eat it. And then there's
That's
like
the shining star. in that
Butterfingers- generic-
Butterfingers and Hershey's move as well.
yes, generic caramels. Like they don't have any indication at all. They're just caramel that's wrapped in a clear wrapper. Oh man, it's such a sad state. But people do eat them because they're like, oh, candy, I guess.
Yeah, right.
We have a vaguely similar situation at work
Yeah.
where we have a psychologist who came and joined us and does our
Sure.
neuropsych testing. And when he first came and joined us, he had this like really full candy bowl.
Yep.
And it was always the mixed bag of Hershey's miniatures.
Oh, it's gonna blow right through.
Yeah, but inevitably the special dark and the crackle are the last to go.
I love the crackle.
The milk chocolate and the Mr. Good bars gone.
Yep.
So, but like people plowed through them. Not to
Yep.
be sexist, I have an office of women.
Yeah.
We're stress
Yeah.
eating. Everyone's going to the damn
Sure.
chocolate
Well,
bowl.
weren't you the one who told me that like biochemistry, women are more inclined.
Prone to sweet things, and men tend to like savory and salty.
So as you get older, you put more salt on shit.
Yeah.
You like your sweet stuff less.
Exactly. There you go. It's true.
Also, also as you age, so there's a male-female thing. There's also as you age, you tend to lose the taste for sweet things in your kind of taste buds, but salty is one of the last things you can still taste. You prefer salty. And sometimes you eat really salty food as a result, which is not good for everyone with cardiac conditions as they age.
They put salty stuff in trick-or-treat bags ever?
Popcorn pretzels.
Nina loves popcorn balls, let me tell you. Every year we have to go find a bunch of them.
You have to find them because the Act 2
Yeah.
popcorn company doesn't make them
What
anymore.
are they joined with?
Some kind of sticky sugar.
Normally, if they're non-vegan, which is pretty rare, it's like a marshmallow type thing.
Yeah. Marshmallows not vegan?
And it has gelatin, or it's like a real just sugary, syrupy
Yeah.
thing, sugar holding it together. But then, so as he was realizing he was going through bags of candy every week,
Yeah.
he started putting in like 5 in the bowl, and there'd be like 1 Mr. Good bar and like 4 special darks, and he's fucking with us. He's doing different combinations
He's trying
to see
to
like
market.
what will
He's
go.
doing psychological research.
There's
on
some
you all.
Marketing research.
kind of testing going on to see like how desperate we
It was
have to
all
be.
part of a plan. Like
Things like bite-sized Mr. Good bars will move
Yeah.
out of like, okay, it's chocolate, I'll eat it.
It's
you know?
peanuts chocolate.
It's peanuts. Baby Ruths will go, but like they're definitely not the preferred ones. And the same sort of goes for Musketeers and for Milky Way.
Yep.
No, those are not top tier candies. I don't think for anyone.
no, Milky Way, no. Or Three Musketeers, absolutely not.
What the hell?
I used to love caramellos. Those are like my favorite.
I don't
chocolatey.
have much of an affinity for things
York
like
peppermint patties.
for things like Reese's Fast Break, but some people really like Reese's Fast Break.
What is Reese's Fast Break? How does that differ?
Basically, it's chocolate and peanut butter. We start there. And then there's some gooiness.
Caramel too.
I think maybe.
How's that?
There's the other one. There's the
What's nutrageous?
That's nougat
Okay.
and peanuts with it.
I don't like nougat. Nougat is just a weird. It's just a weird. Piece
So
of
is
bull.
nutrageous just a Reese's Snickers, but then they made a peanut butter Snickers? What is happening?
Some people really stand by the fast breaks.
I'm really not a fan of bar candy.
You know what else is actually?
What about the whatchamacallits and the thingamajigs? Those two weird candy bars that like
The ones that
are
you-
trying to be clever.
Yeah.
One thing that does move pretty fast, but are rare, are small packs of candies, like a
Small pack of Skittles?
a small pack of M&Ms, a
M&Ms.
small pack of Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
When Starburst is in there, I'll have a Starburst.
Yeah, we do have those in the things that work, and people actually do seek those out.
Except for the lemon and orange, those hang around. But
I actually like the lemon.
I'll eat any one of them. They all taste the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Those are too sweet too.
I agree that they all taste the same, but I think other people don't. I think people get super stoked when they get a red or a pink. What about like the fruit Mentos?
I don't think I've ever had them.
Well, I don't like the tart, like the Smarties and
Yeah.
the Necco wafers aren't tart. That's just chalk. I don't know what's happening with that.
You know, there's actually
I
a
hate to
special
dis-
place in my heart for Necco wafers because my grandfather always had a roll of Necco wafers.
the
and he would
chocolate
always
Necco
offer you
waifers
one.
are okay.
He would occasionally buy a roll of chocolate.
I
but usually
hate
it
to
was mixed.
disparage the New England Confectionery Company, which is Necco,
Yeah.
but you know.
I'm googling it. I can't really figure out what a fast break is. They're like most Reese's products. It's
They're a
chocolate
secret.
It's chocolate and peanut butter. Wait a minute.
It's sugar. Eat it.
However, the fast break also has a layer of nougat beneath the peanut butter. So we got some see the nougat underneath the peanut
No,
butter.
don't show her.
Don't traumatize her like that.
On the topic of candy corn, there I was today,
Yeah.
little Frankie Freyd,
Little Frankie Fred.
innocent.
Nubile.
Innocent as the day was
I
long.
could have prevented what would come, but I didn't know that he was an innocent.
Nina Shaleski, my wife and life partner,
Watched it all go down.
needed to go to a craft store.
Sure.
We ended up at Michael's.
Okay.
We needed,
Michael.
Legitimate craft store.
we needed to buy some foam so that our bed doesn't destroy the wall or something.
Is that what's going down?
The bed frame is hitting the wall and
I gotta
scratching
fix
the
that
paint.
problem too. I should get some foam.
I now have extra foam from our situation.
Apparently, you're sexist as a representative. I'm in the checkout line. I didn't have a particularly huge lunch, and I'm kind of like in the mood for like a candy I've never tried before. Some weird alternate.
Which is totally new for you. You are a big like I eat the
Stick
things
with
I like.
the,
I stick with the candy.
But when it's seasonal like that, and it comes but once a year,
Yeah.
there is a little temptation to try it. So I walk by candy corn M&Ms. Now I don't like normal candy
Oh,
corns.
jeez.
notoriously
Oh, my
bad, right?
God.
Like I've always heard they're bad. So
I didn't even know the product existed. But
I'm not even thinking that I should warn him. I'm thinking he's aware of their reputation.
He's gonna blow up and he knows it.
yeah.
Well, have you seen the candy corn creamed Oreos?
No.
Isn't that a thing? Am I making that
It
up?
was last year. I think they pulled it in favor of, as John pointed out in the Target video, the caramel apple.
And we'll get to
Caramel
that.
apple, yeah.
But we saw the caramel apple Oreos.
I think again the candy corn Oreos were universally
I
panned.
think the candy corn Oreos were a last straw for America.
Because people hate candy corn.
I think it was a weird form of like that's it. We won't. That's a place we won't follow.
Yep.
Corporations.
You can't make a chemical sugar so tasty. I'll wolf
Yeah,
this down.
like I'll do 3 cheese stuffed bread, but I will not eat.
But a pile of sugar's right out.
What if they made cheddar cheese Oreos?
Ooh,
Ooh, nah.
nah, disgusting.
They're gross.
These were fucking sick.
Why did you buy them?
I did eat the whole bag. Because I don't know. I felt like I had to get rid of them.
They were white chocolate, and when we're talking like
They're white chocolate candy corn.
and when we're talking
White chocolate with a candy corn in the middle. Is this what we're talking about
No,
here?
it doesn't have
candy
a candy corn in the middle.
shell,
Oh.
white
It's an
chocolate
M&M
inside.
It's an M&M that is meant to evoke the taste of candy corn. My thinking was,
Yeah.
this is the Hershey Corporation.
Sure.
These guys don't fuck around. They know what to. They have an amusement park for God's sake.
But have you seen all the M&Ms? Have you seen the horrible?
Look, you could have just gotten a nice packet of peanut butter M&Ms
You're right.
and had yourself a lovely afternoon.
You're absolutely right. I could have sat there on my druthers rested on my laurels.
Look, if you wanted something crazy, you could have gotten some white chocolate like peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
If they had such a thing.
Hey, they have this new thing I saw on CVS and I tried, and it added nothing to the M&M.
Yeah.
You see, at this point, we've talked about weird flavored M&Ms on this show before, but at this point, they're trying things with M&Ms that just ain't panning out. But they did. They have mega M&Ms.
The giant size M&Ms.
They're just bigger. That's literally it. I had the peanut version.
The opposite of what you're looking for in an M&M.
It really added nothing at all.
Yeah.
It just was like harder to chew.
Yeah. That doesn't sound like anything good at all.
How to describe the candy corn M&M? It tasted.
Well, first of all, the problem with cheap white chocolate is that white chocolate's not chocolate to begin with, but cheap white chocolate is basically sugar wax.
Yes, sugar wax.
Like actual milk, like white chocolate is terrible for you, but it's all oil and butter and sugar.
It tasted like it was
cheap is not going to have all the oil, sugar, and butter.
Like it was a bunch of M&Ms that got trapped in some old tree sap.
What kind of tree? Was it more of a maple or a
And that's
birch?
how we got dinosaurs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it kind of reminds me of the Jurassic Park scene where like the sap goes over the M&M and then you can like extract its DNA and make M&Ms later.
You just shouldn't do it. You just should let it be.
Yeah.
We were so
it be.
focused on whether or not we could, we didn't stop and ask if we should.
And the answer is you should not. And you should not be out next year.
Anyway, they were fucking terrible. Don't eat them.
Why did you eat the whole bag? Just throw them out the window.
Well,
or
Nina
something.
was asking. I don't have a good answer.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I felt like it just felt weird to throw out the thing I just bought.
We ended up in not quite a fight.
Yeah.
But we ended up in a thing where I said, I'm sorry, I thought you knew that these were universally bad. I thought that you were testing
yep.
that. And then he was like, no, I didn't know that. And I'm like, well, if you're realizing that now, why do you continue to eat them?
But you're probably thinking, yeah, and I didn't argue with you.
Well, except that you told me, no, why would I get something intentionally bad? It wouldn't be worth the calories. And then I said,
Yeah.
but you're continuing to eat the thing you just said wasn't worth it.
Touche. But you might be thinking, Frankie, at the top of the show, you established that you don't like candy corns. Why would you buy a candy corn anything?
Yeah.
And the reason is because I thought that maybe...
They were trying to improve on
You
the
put
essence of candy
trust.
corn.
Wait a minute.
You put your trust
And
and
the
your
Hershey's
love
Corporation.
of other Hershey's
Wait a minute,
candies.
does Hershey's own M&Ms? Or is it Mars?
It's Mars.
Oh.
It's M&M Mars is the name of the company.
Oh,
Who's
damn.
like Mars bars? Nobody.
I'm pretty sure that at the
I used to
amusement
like
park,
Mars
at the
bars.
amusement park, they walked around in like giant M&M costumes. No,
Nope, you got the York peppermint patty, you got the Reese's peanut butter cup guy, you got the Hershey's bars. If you go into the hall of old bars that were discontinued,
Hershey's owns
you got the
York
Bar
peppermint
None
patties?
bars, which were the best candy bar ever.
None.
Yes, this man knows.
bar none.
There is no better candy bar,
It was
bar
really
none.
good.
Bam.
Bar none. Yeah.
I see that that's a little more charismatic than the Dunkin Donuts situation.
The Dunkin' Donuts situation was pitiful.
So, John, tell us about pumpkin spice fatigue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, there's a serious problem that's coming up now. You go to any store, all right, any store anywhere, you can buy something pumpkin spice flavored, all right? We're just at Dunkin' Donuts, beautiful Dunkin' Donuts.
It's for all the ladies. The ladies be waiting for the pumpkin spice
Why? Why is it
lattes.
Why do they want it?
Because they got sad lives and they're waiting for the cycles to come out.
Maybe they're kind of like me, which is like the season. You're nostalgic for a season of your life. If you live in New England, the weather changes, and you're starting to look for signifiers that it's that time of year. You're looking for unique
You're looking
ways,
for the never-ending pasta bowl to come back to you.
traditions that you can partake in that signify that it's that time of year that you love so much.
Yeah.
And the pumpkin spice latte.
Maybe it is for that for some people.
I mean, for one thing, they're only just now getting back into hot coffee season too, right?
Yeah.
It's also something I think that they can partake in fairly regularly, where you're not going to eat pumpkin pie every day or have like a real
That's what makes
indulgent
it
treat.
special, you know.
You're right. I'm with
like
you.
one thing that's right along those lines for me is eggnog. Right, a lot of people think eggnog's really gross, and in
They will
actuality,
be coming out with the eggnog lattes for you soon.
eggnog is. I was actually in Walmart the other day. Hood eggnog, you can buy it right now, even though it's a month too early to buy eggnog, but you can, and I probably will buy a small container eggnog. So.
And that's that.
That's that. It's gonna happen because exactly that reason that you said. It's a signifier.
But how did the fatigue start? What are the symptoms of pumpkin spice fatigue?
Is it just you, or do you actually think that?
No, I think a lot of people are sick of pumpkin spice as a thing, and that's why, like I said in the Target video, we're starting to see some branch out. Apple caramel, anything fall related.
Yep.
What's with the?
I saw like some spice cake thing that I was like, oh, that's where they're going
with the
with
spice
it.
element of it?
Well, the spices that they're referring to here are the spices that go into a pumpkin pie. So you're talking cinnamon, nutmeg.
I see. Not spicy,
cloves.
not pumpkin spicy.
Yeah, cloves. Yeah, it's not pumpkin spicy. It's just
Spiced
the
pumpkin.
spices of pumpkin plus
Right.
the pumpkin flavoring.
So given, how do you feel about caramel apple as a flavor?
I think it's okay. I haven't actually tried the caramel apple Oreos.
I think hot apples suck. I'll just put it out there. I kind of enjoy an
Oh,
apple.
I love hot apple
Hot
cider.
apple cider. Let me tell you a
Cold
little thing
apple
about
cider,
hot
very
apple
nice.
cider. Hot apple cider is great, and so is cold apple cider. But the real key is to get unpasteurized apple cider.
That's
'cause
what
it
I got.
does. You have it?
That's what I have.
Nina has it. Can we have some?
We can have some. We can have some.
Where did you get it, Nina? I gotta know.
Well, actually, I don't know if that's where I got it this time. I normally go to that orchard in Dartmouth.
Oh, I gotta do it. I gotta get some.
It's all done there on premises, and they're not
Amazing.
pasteurizing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they put the little warning on it. This is
But no,
unpasteurized.
but
Why would you
that's-
pasteurize just to keep it? I guess, right?
make it keep it better, and there's
Decrease
the
your
potential
liability.
for salmonella or whatever to
just
get
very
in anything.
So
like
unlikely.
that.
what's the difference in taste? By how would you describe it?
Tang.
Yeah, tang.
There's more tang.
It's kind of it will. Honestly, pasteurized apple cider is very much like apple juice.
Yes, it's highly sweetened, concentrated. It tastes
yeah,
more
it's just a little bit off from apple juice, whereas actual apple cider is not as close to apple juice
Yep.
as that is. That's the difference. It's subtle, but it's important. Damn
see.
it.
Well, I like my cider cold.
Sure.
I like
Hot with a cinnamon stick in it. Oh.
if I'm gonna get a hot beverage in the fall time or the winter time, it's gonna be hot cocoa.
Yeah, I'm with you there, but it has to be like I almost got a hot cocoa today, but it's 50 degrees out. That's not really
Yeah.
cocoa weather.
What
It's got to be
about-
like 38.
Although if you spent all day at the Harvest Festival when we were kids,
Oh, I missed
you
that
might-
Harvest Festival a lot.
We should talk about the Harvest
What
Festival.
about
a little bit.
apple cider donuts? Was that a big thing for anyone besides me? Apple cider
Donuts
donuts
in
in the
general
fall?
were pretty much barred from my family. They were such fitness
You have like
freaks.
one video of you eating a donut, and like
Yeah,
it's
they were like, "Oh, your father would
sacrilege.
it's an
never."
artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to say earlier, I remember when my parents discovered, because my parents are big coffee drinkers, when they discovered that Dunkin' Donuts had like reasonable coffee, passable, serviceable coffee.
Yeah.
And McDonald's had serviceable coffee.
They do.
They started
Well, because
getting
they have Newman's Own. Is the thing.
they started getting their coffee from McDonald's a ton, which McDonald's might as well be like the seventh layer of hell for my
McDonald's
family.
has organic coffee. Newman's
But
Own
they
is
would go-
organic coffee.
Organic coffee, yeah.
They would
do.
go and get McDonald's
$1.
coffee, and it would be really weird to watch.
But the milk you're putting in is not organic. That's
No.
McDonald's milk.
Yeah.
It was super weird to see my parents walk around with golden arches on anything.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway,
Did they smell a little bit like fry grease coming back from the
yeah, that's the secret ingredient. Like some fry fucking grease. But you were donuts. I don't have much a memory for, other than just the way they look.
But what about apples? So you don't like hot apples, so apple pie is kind of out.
Yeah, apple
Candied
crisp.
apples? You like candied apples?
No. I never was much of an apple person in general.
I like seeing them. I like seeing them as like a fall item. Like, ooh, there's a candied apple.
It's
right there.
it's basically a decoration for you, like the pumpkin donut.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna eat it. It's way too much work. Too sweet.
I can kind of get behind like taking a cold apple
Yeah.
and eating it, and that's about it.
All right.
I don't like putting.
What
my
about putting peanut butter on it? Mm.
Yeah, I get it. That's like a healthy snack.
Granny Smith apple with some peanut butter. Oh man.
Yeah, right.
I don't think so, Tim.
All right.
You might as well put put peanut butter on like an orange. I mean, it's like a citrus
Ew.
flavor.
Going into talking about the Harvest Festival, you worked an apple pie booth with me at the Harvest Festival.
Is that so?
Here's how much I loved Nina at one time.
Uh-huh. Is a tale of the love that
There
they
was,
once
there was a time
shared.
when I would characterize it as the first 2 years of our relationship.
Yeah.
We've been together. Coming this November,
Yeah.
we will have been together for 14 years.
Holy cow.
And we're 28. So half our lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
But for the first 2 years, Nina was somewhat distant. It took her a little while to let people
Warm
in.
up. Yeah.
And so I would look for opportunities. Like she would never be available to hang out with me.
Sure.
Which was like bullshit. Like she just didn't want to hang
Yeah.
out with me.
That's listen to what this has become. These haunted, sordid tales of our
over
past.
here.
Pretty ghoulish.
Ghoulish.
2 ghoulish years. But she would always somehow be available to do like complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Like volunteer at the Harvest Festival.
I filled your life with experiences. You never have had these.
So I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be like." I would try to meet her on neutral ground. Some might call it stalking,
Yeah, you know.
but I would try to do things that she did where she did them.
Yep.
And one year she was like, my brother and I, because her brother, like if I wanted to hang out with her, the brother was always there. My brother and I are going to volunteer at the Harvest Festival. So I was like, okay, I'll do that too. And here's the part I don't remember. I remember, I sold pies. I had not been interviewed
Yep.
or in any
There's-
way.
just
you
show
did not
up.
attend the volunteer meetings that we attended
was
for weeks in
meetings?
advance.
And
Yes.
I handled cash
Yeah.
like throughout an entire morning. The part I don't remember is I remember like I managed that table to sell people pies.
Yep.
And Nina left. Nina was not there. I manned the table by myself.
Well, I was there for the day a lot with you, and then we had those St. Vincent's kids helping us that were told that they could not handle the
I
cash.
remember. Oh my god, that was so long ago.
But no, at
12. That was 13 years ago.
at a couple of points, I was sent to cover people's lunch breaks, is what happened, because I was
Yes.
at those volunteer meetings, so I knew everyone.
I was like, man, I really like this girl.
and you had just learned that people would eat melted cheddar cheese on apple pie, and it like blew your mind.
Holy shit! Yeah, it just blew my mind again because I forgot.
Because you're
Fucking disgusting.
Sounds awesome.
Because people would ask, "Do you have cheese?" and you thought they meant cheese pie, and you were like, "That sounds delicious." They used to have cheese pie, and I was like, "No, they melt
I don't
cheese
remember any
on
of
pie."
this. Seems about right. I remember I had it was the
Sharp
first
cheddar.
time, the first time I ever made Nina laugh really hard was then. It was
Oh, it was so gross.
I ordered a chili.
Yep.
And it was the most disgusting fucking chili I'd ever eaten. And something about the way I was
Something
eating
about your face, the way that you ate it.
she
made me
laughed
laugh.
a lot.
No.
And
And you kept eating it. I should feel bad about it, but I don't because it
finish
was hilarious.
yeah, I probably finished it just to make her laugh more.
Yep.
It's pretty pathetic looking back on it. You never see like girls going through any of this stuff to impress a guy. Like I'll eat chili that gives me diarrhea to make you like me.
No, they just like want to like sleep with you
To
and like wear
tease a
short
laugh.
skirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Harvest Festival was
A staple of
It was a
fall.
staple.
Oh, it really was.
of
It
our-
was. I love that.
Why
that
did they
thing so
stop
much.
doing it?
But it was only really a staple of fall when they held it at the high school.
Yep.
And
The
for some
fairgrounds
reason, when they moved it
was
to
bullshit.
the fairgrounds,
Yeah, because then it
was not-
became another
Westport
copy
Fair.
of the Westport
the
Fair.
Westport
Yeah.
Fair Redux.
Yeah.
Some of the staples of the Westport Harvest Festival include,
Was a
but are
quilt
not
show?
limited to.
Included. They had the big craft tent, of course, with all the local fall crafts.
They would just have like goats. Like there would be some goats.
Yep, there was a pen of goats, a pen of sheep. I used to love to pet the sheep. I remember on the front page of the Villager, I did an extreme close up of a cow, and we put that shot on the front celebrating the Harvest Festival in '97.
Nice.
I discovered Lebanese meat pies and spinach pies.
Yeah. There
Yep.
was a Lebanese meat pie, and they would also do the charisse meat pie because we live in a
I
horrible
remember
Portuguese
they had a
area where they take the Lebanese
extensive-
pie and fill it with charisse.
They had the. Do you remember the cow pie casino where they put all the cows in the baseball field, mark
Yep.
it off, and wherever
Folks,
they,
And wherever
they
the cows shit, you win money if you chose that lot.
They had a cow shit contest.
Yes.
I was gonna say that it was the Cow Pie Casino. I try when I try to make like because obviously I work with people that are either from cities or I work in a city. I try to explain to them how rural my hometown was. I was like, they literally. I'm not kidding when I tell you.
You bet.
You
Where the
gambled
cows
on where a cow would shit and how much.
Yeah.
They also did, and they did this for the Westport Fair as well, which is a summer activity. They did the tractor pulls, I believe.
Did they?
No. They had tractor
No.
shows, and they also had the pumpkin contest of who could grow
Yes.
the biggest pumpkin.
Yep.
But they didn't do the pulls, those loud, horrible, noisy pulls. No. But
Yeah,
they
that's
had
a fair
But
thing.
they had like tractor shows where like they would.
I remember
like, the parade
They also
into
had
the
some country
tractors.
music on a stage.
Yeah, lousy country music.
Yeah, that's fine though. It's, you know.
But they would sell the pies, pumpkin and apple.
I remember
Stale popcorn.
they were making fresh apple cider there. They would crush the apples right there,
Yeah.
and you could get it.
Talk about unpasteurized.
I remember they had they had like just a used books tent.
Yep.
That you
Yeah.
could just buy some used books
course.
you wanted.
Old ladies.
To hunker in and hibernate for the winter.
Yep,
Old ladies would make jewelry and sell it.
absolutely. That was in the craft tent. I loved it. I thought it
It's
was
not
just
unlike
great.
the church fairs now.
No, I mean it was a big deal though. It was a big affair. They
It
had
was
a pancake
really fall themed. There were
breakfast,
corn
too.
husks everywhere. It was highly decorated.
Yes.
Bales of hay.
Yep, lots of bales of hay.
There were actually, so in addition to like the pumpkin contest for like who grew the biggest pumpkin, which sometimes they were enormous.
Yeah.
There was also like fall like arrangements. Like
Yep.
women would make like flowers or wreaths, and then they would judge those.
It was so much fun. I think ultimately what happened to it is the athletic directors at the high school decided that it was damaging the fields too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, they were like,
Then they moved it to the fairground, and then it did not do well at the fairground.
and it did move back to the high school for a couple of years.
Yeah, for 1 year.
and
The year that we worked it.
and then it just never happened again.
Yeah.
If that's honestly the thing that killed that Harvest Festival, I don't really. Maybe we got to Facebook that Westport Mass guy. Because the selectman that you and I did a video for when I was like 15, Steve Ouellette, the chairman, he manages the Facebook group of Westport Mass.
Well, it's not of Westport, Mass. He will repeatedly say he is not representing all of Westport, Mass.
Well, I named the thing Westport
Facebook.
Mass.
Yeah.
But he tries to clarify that because I think he's gotten shit for it.
But
He's not
like
official.
any good sort of rural middle-aged man, he'll post things like 2 people died last night.
has anyone seen the Almeida's cat on Route 6?
whose power is still out?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Sometimes I find his information to be very useful.
Yeah. Is it really? I should look at this
Or
page.
town building or community building.
It was very helpful for us when we had the blizzard and we lost power for 3 days because
Yep.
he was actually documenting where the repair crews were.
Oh, wow.
you could
kind
call
of-
out for help on Facebook.
Holy cow.
You kind of felt like you weren't like alone. Like otherwise, I would just feel like we don't know when it's going to come back. We're freaking out. But like
kind of,
it was documenting
kinda
like which
cool.
streets had been restored.
I think they got to bring that thing back. We should Facebook message him and say, "Yo, what do we got to do?"
But
People love it.
you'd actually have to volunteer at it. See, I was putting my money where my mouth was. I was volunteering.
Why
the
did
thing
you
I
actually
loved.
volunteer for that thing? Realistically,
Because it was the first year. Realistically, it was the first year it was coming back to the high school, and they had actually put out a thing on Westport Public Access, and it said like
that John and I didn't produce.
Yeah, we didn't produce that.
And it said that like if you wanted to make it successful, like there were volunteer opportunities. We were trying to bring it back to the high school, but they had to pay the high school to repair the grounds.
Yeah.
So it had to raise a lot more money than usual.
Yeah, that's right.
And so my brother and I were like, oh, wouldn't it be great if it came back to the high school? And that was like my first actual altruistic volunteering opportunity where I was like, yes, I want to get involved in the thing I like.
That's cool.
It would almost never happen again.
Well, I think I got to bring it back. I think it was it was good for the town.
So fun. Yeah, and it brought a lot of business in. Absolutely.
It's great when you're like when you're 12, 13, you got a little girlfriend, you kind of chase her around.
And it was actually pretty well run. It was a well run event.
I remember every year for like my whole sort of later in my childhood, every year it was like there was a risk that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
There was an agricultural costume contest. Did we talk about this? That your mom?
Oh my fucking
in-
god! Well, they had a parade. They had the Westport Harvest Festival
Oh, that's
parade.
right. The parade used to end at the Harvest
Which was
Festival.
way better than the 4th of July
They
parade.
also had a 5K.
Holy cow.
And I used
this
to.
was like a massive event. How
Yeah.
did it just fall into nothingness?
I don't know. I
marched in that parade a couple years.
well, that is one.
There's
of
video footage. Oh wait,
That is, I'm not sure it's the Harvest Festival. There is a really funny thing that, like, John and I are 6 years apart, and when you're young, that matters.
Yeah.
Like, he was in high school, I was in elementary school, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have footage of my sister, who's 3 years older than me, marching in the middle school bands, and then I see footage before I even knew who John was, of him marching in the high school band and stuff. It's really strange to see.
It's like, oh.
But
not playing an instrument, which is hilarious because I think if you
Yeah,
were so
I was just
musical
up
and you
front
were like
percussion.
a flag bearer or something,
Yes.
like you were like carrying
because
the
I couldn't
banner.
carry my bells or marimba.
well, typically, if you're gonna have like a float in a parade, you'd like make a float.
Yeah.
But my dad had this real notion of like we can just take an old car or like a
Yep.
vintage car, and that will be our float.
Yeah.
And so
That is the thing that is done.
yeah, so he had like an old Dodge
Yep.
pickup, and he got it in his head that my mom especially got it in her head that like we should really be in the parade, and what we can. She's like, I can make these corn costumes.
Yeah.
And all three of us, my mom, my sister, and myself, will all dress as corn stalks.
Yeah.
My dad did not dress as a corn stalk.
No.
Obviously because he knew that it would be embarrassing.
Now,
But
can I ask you a question? Is this the corn costume that later appeared?
You
in
will
I Need to Lose 10
absolutely
Pounds?
see. Yes, she based it off of the design off of Who is that woman that like on what the hell is the box of? Is it starch? It's starch.
Yeah. The like Agra cornstarch.
Yeah, she has like a
Argo or something.
She's got like an Indian feather.
Yep.
Because we had Indian feathers too. She basically just
She didn't do it from pattern. She did it all from nothing.
Yeah, she just based it
wow,
off of
such a talent.
She would often. My mom was pretty amazing at especially Halloween time. She always like really showed a lot of adeptedness. A lot of talent. What she would do is she would sometimes I'd be like, "Hey, Mom, I want to be Batman or I want to be a Ninja Turtle or whatever," and she would take like maybe 3 different patterns from 3 different approaches to the costume, and she would kind of like borrow from the best of all of them, and then she would fill gaps with her own talent and stuff.
Yeah.
But she made us corn, and I swear I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I was not left alone about the fact that I was
One of those things you don't live down.
Yeah, and of course, like the students in Westport were never very clever about how to make fun of me.
Yeah.
They just wanted to make sure I felt
Like,
gay.
hey, corn boy.
Yeah, just-
corn fag. Faggy boy. Faggy corn.
No, the thing they specifically said, it was always older kids, and I was so confused by the joke that I didn't even know how to respond to it, was, "Hey, Frankie, you like corn?" What? Hey, Frankie, you like corn?
Is that why you specifically don't now?
No, I just don't like it. But I would tell them, I'd be like, not really, no. And they'd be like, I didn't get it.
Hey, Frankie, do you like pencils or erasers?
Yeah. I think asking me if I liked corn was basically like asking me if I liked ass, and dick. Hey, Frankie, do you like balls in your mouth?
Do you like the company of gentlemen?
Because corn is obviously the gayest vegetable.
Because, like, what if I did like corn so very much that I dressed up as corn?
Yes,
I know. Okay.
The funny
Didn't you see me in the parade?
The funny thing is that a lot of these kids, probably their parents did grow corn on their small Portuguese farms.
Oh, I
in
absolutely.
Westport.
We had corn every year until a couple of years ago.
But you weren't wearing it.
Yeah.
See a difference?
No.
Yeah, you didn't commit, bitch.
It was before you started the bamboo only plantation
That's right.
over there.
I want to talk about one more thing before we go. Paula used to be a person.
Yeah, she's still alive?
That was on the show.
with
She's
us?
still alive.
Okay.
She, Nina and I, every Halloween, I can't imagine, John, that like horror is your favorite genre.
That's not really.
But you're not afraid of a horror movie. You'll watch a horror movie.
No.
You've seen plenty of gore in your lifetime.
Yep.
You know, we watch a mix of children's Halloween stuff. We watch
the spooky, the creepy, the scary, the horror, the slasher.
the gore. We just bought this beautiful box set that
sci-fi
that was just released of Halloween, which is sort of how the first Halloween was what started the slasher genre.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, we've seen a lot of horror movies. Maybe not as much as like a horror buff, but we've certainly seen all the classics.
Yeah.
And it's hard to freak me out anymore.
Yep.
I often say, I don't want to scare anybody at home, but I often say that kind of the more subtle gore is actually grosser than getting like your head cut off.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
Things that like affecting your fingernail, your eyeball, anything.
Yeah, anything. It's that relatable element.
Yeah. Anyway, all irrelevant to what my ultimate point will be. Paula claims to have never seen a horror movie before in her life, and I'm kind of buying it now. As we all know, Paula is extremely sensory.
Yeah,
she's like, it's like really easy to make her feel something.
Yeah.
She's very raw.
Everything is visceral, yeah.
And if you literally are like, hey, Paula, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you can just say the title of the movie. She'll be like, Frankie, no. And I'm like, I haven't done anything.
Give her a 3-line plot summary, and she's like rolling on the floor.
So we started to do, oh my
vomiting blood.
It's like eyes rolled back.
Yes, like
spit coming out.
Yeah.
But she, I was like, hey, Silence of the Lambs, and that one she turned white, and I was like, have you seen the movie or something? She's like, no, I've seen the DVD cover.
It's a butterfly.
It's a butterfly in a mouth, and she was like, she basically went into this whole thing where because she saw the DVD cover,
she like has envisioned what it will be about, and
she
it freaks her out.
Yeah, she then had a dream where like there was a bug in her mouth or something, and it freaked her out.
And now that's what the movie is about.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
God.
I started calling her Clarice, and I'm making the the Anthony Hopkins like tongue whip thing.
Yep.
And she has all she knows is it's from the movie. She has no context, and she fucking flips whenever she hears this.
It could be about cunnilingus. You could be talking like a sexy scene.
So naturally, there's nothing I would love more than to actually make her watch a horror movie. I mean, we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I mean, it's a gruesome ass movie. Yeah. It's very raw. It's from the 70s.
Yep.
But has she seen like Hocus Pocus? Like, are we talking like
That's not
like
horror,
But like, how mild? Like if you're talking about like
That's excellent.
But if you're talking about like stealing children's souls, like how
she was
what's
here.
horror?
She was here for when we watched Return to Horror High.
Yes,
I guess that wasn't obviously very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they pick up a woman and hang her on a rusty meat hook. Like Paula, like if I just said that sentence to Paula, she would just fall to the ground.
Yep, shaking.
Now,
pulsing.
when you ask her, what is the closest thing you've seen to a horror movie?
All right.
Her answer is Ghost Ship. I have no idea.
Ghost Ship.
I have no idea what this movie is.
Battleship of the Potemkin.
You mean like Ghost Dad?
No, Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship. I have never heard of it in my life.
So we're gonna Google it. It sounds like a
lousy
children's movie.
NES.
What about like the? So obviously, like the stupid movies don't count.
It's
like
got
the
one
day,
star.
like the Day After Tomorrow or Twister. Like we're not talking about like the natural disaster.
She never seen
movies.
a Blair Witch Project, I'm guessing.
Oh, probably not. That would be too much for that woman.
Blair Witch Project. It was a 2002 film, 90 minutes.
All right.
A salvage crew that discovers a long-lost 1962 passenger ship floating lifeless in a remote region of the Bering Sea soon notices, as they prepare to tow it back to land, that strange things happen.
Oh, they
Hey,
noticed that strange things happen.
Okay, totally unrelated, but kind of related. What about like
It's starring nobody.
what about like that crazy like aircraft carrier or ship that's like full of rats that's just like floating around in the North Atlantic? Is
that
Have we
true?
all read about
Is
that?
that
Yeah, it's an old decommissioned I guess Russian Navy thing that was sold to Canada and it was supposed to be dismantled in Nova Scotia and they never did it. And it like broke free. And there's this horrible fear that like there's a ton of like rats living on it.
Really?
And that now they must be quite diseased from like eating each other. And they're like, if it like falls on land somewhere.
Shouldn't they be dead after like a couple generations? No.
Well, but if they keep eating each other.
I don't know, though. I think the title of Ghost Ship's a little on the nose.
But they should probably just sink the ship.
Yeah.
I think that like if you were gonna make a story about that thing I just read, you'd maybe call it like Forgotten Deck or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Like you wouldn't be like Ghost Ship, Ship of Ghosts.
Ghost Ship. It's gonna be a ghost on the ship. Check it out.
Well, we hope we've put you in the Halloween mood.
Yeah.
Every year, I'll tell you, our super fan Jade last year listened to our diatribe about like friendlies or whatever, and he said it put him in the Halloween mood that he had previously not been in.
Huh.
So
Well,
maybe
hopefully
we can offer that.
This
service.
brings
Hey,
someone
wait,
into the
and
Halloween mood.
can I just do a quick update
Yeah.
on last year's Halloween episode?
Yes.
Last year's Halloween episode, we talked about why was Friendly's failing, but Olive Garden continued to be so successful. Spooky, right? Spooky. We foreshadowed the fall of
We
the
know.
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
We know it sucks.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go. You'll see the forgotten souls.
Yes, you'll see the mediocre dishes.
I remember
The haunted pastas.
there's
Unsalted.
if I can make a recommendation, there is a wonderful Halloween series every year called Monster Madness at cinemassacre.com. It's by the guy who does the Angry Video Game Nerd series. He does a little horror review every day for all 30 days. And I believe this is his 7th or 8th year.
One of my favorite things. It wasn't a tradition, but 3 or 4 years when I was a kid, we went to like the Factory of Terror or the Asylum Park, and the line was so long that they used to play on a projector outside, like some of the classic,
Even if it was just a guy yelling.
It's like Frankenstein style.
Okay,
like monster movies.
If anybody heard that was if in a previous episode you heard about how Peebo has like demented like outcries, that was one of them. Anyway, we decided we want to rewatch all of them, but we were like, how are we going to fit that in? And we were like, well, we could start Halloween really early this year. So we started in August, and everybody, including yourself, John, were like, that's very early.
That's too much.
And here's the thing. I feel like that was like last weekend.
The time is flown
That was
by.
like 2 months ago, and it already feels. So I definitely stand by the decision to have started early.
to start Halloween in July.
'Cause I'm not sure that maybe next year I'll start even earlier. And just
What are you, Walmart with the Christmas decorations out 3 weeks
Hey,
ago?
I'm going to
Hey,
defend Walmart.
I did not decorate until like the first weekend in October.
All right, I'm not
faulting
faulting you, Nina. I'm faulting
the husband.
you for Halloween creep. All right.
Look,
You are part of the pumpkin
Halloween
spice
just start
fatigue
in
problem.
November. No, but the as far as Christmas decorations out at Walmart and all that kind of thing, I'm not so convinced that that's Walmart pushing Christmas in October. I think that that's Walmart like basically just putting out some inventory. Like they have to ship a ton.
I think they have a seasonal area, and when they have nothing to fill the seasonal area with, they just go to the next.
and it's generally lights.
Yeah, it's trees and lights and
Yeah,
some ornaments.
it's nothing too crazy.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm not going to buy the shit anyway. So
It's the kind of thing that like you would there's probably Christmas things available online right now.
oh yeah.
Shut up, Peebo. But you wouldn't go you wouldn't necessarily go to it and buy
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
It can be bypassed.
You're right.
fairly
Absolutely.
easily. Granted, well, when is too early for Christmas anyway? You can't start right after.
Anything before Thanksgiving
Yeah.
for me is too early.
Day after Thanksgiving, you're fine to do whatever you
The
want.
day after Thanksgiving, I start playing Christmas music in my car on loop. So like I am perfectly fine with like ramping it right the fuck up.
Yeah,
but
I have no problem with that.
This year, I'm a little. I don't know about Christmas this year. I'm not in the mood.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to get myself a real tree for the first time in forever.
Wow.
Whoa.
Nina and I kind of quit that.
Yeah, you give up on trees. in general?
we quit it too early in our life. You're supposed to quit it when you're like your kids are grown and like off to college and you're too lazy. I
Yeah.
stopped when I was like 18.
Christmas is fun when we do podcasts. I
Yeah.
do enjoy the pod every year. Your Christmas party, I'll have to decide whether or not I go.
Yeah, it's happening.
Because at this point, I've got Aaron and Mike not here.
Yeah.
I've got a single individual that, it's him or me, I guess. One of those things.
No, it's not. But
And then, the rest don't much care for me.
Yeah.
Right down to Keith.
Are we gonna sit here by ourselves listening to "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas"
wouldn't
and
that be
"Blue
sad?
Christmas"?
It was sad on 23rd. What are you going to do with yourself? on the
I've
23rd?
never missed a John party since I was probably 15.
Look, I can rent a nice motor home, and we can put you outside in the
Rent some friends.
maybe no. What I'm going to do, I'm going to invite a bunch of work people, and if I get a bunch of work people, it'll
Maybe I'll get
smooth it
laid,
right
though.
out. They're all guys, so
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
I'm pretty gay friendly.
all right.
Are you gonna invite Steve? Does Steve get to come?
Steve Norton.
Uncle Steve Trenholm.
Oh, sure.
Why
Steve Trenholm I'll hang out
Why
with.
don't we ever call him Uncle Steve? Can we start doing that?
Because Smallvine and Somo are better.
I don't know if he'd come, but I'll invite him.
You kidding me? He'll be there
All
with
right.
bells on. He'll play Santa. if
Look,
you
I'm
ask
not
him
gonna have him there unless you guys are there, though. All right.
to. No, I understand. But he is pretty much my only friend left at this point. Well, I guess like Hana might go too, right? But
I hope so. I'd hope Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle-
Hannah and
Connor
Sile.
and Kyle.
Hannah and Sile.
Hannah and Sile, yes.
the common mispronunciations.
Yep.
I'm just not sure how that plays into her vacation or whatever.
Returning home to the rents.
all that stuff.
Because she's so Jersey.
She's talking these days about moving back to New York and stuff, and that'd be the end of Hana for me.
Don't be sad.
So I'm losing everybody.
You're losing everybody.
You are by far my number one friend.
Wow, look at me.
You already were, but nevertheless, So happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
We'll
everybody.
be in Austin for Halloween. I'll be back on the day of.
You gonna do any special things in Austin?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that any of it will be Halloween based.
Yeah, okay.
There's screenwriting conferences and all kinds of things.
Yep.
I'm meant to
That's
go to.
pretty spooky.
I think I'm gonna stay home and watch some Addams Family movies. That's my plan.
Yes.
Those are my favorite Halloween films.
Really, those are your
You know
favorite?
what's you know what's also excellent? The Addams Family animated series and the Addams Family
I can
original
vouch.
show.
I can vouch.
They're both good, but the movies hold a special place
Yeah,
in my
they-
heart.
The movies are great.
Specifically, Addams Family values for me.
Yes,
When
they take
go to the
themselves
camp,
so seriously.
and it can be a
that-
Thanksgiving film or a Halloween film. I'm just saying. It
Directed-
can be a transition
They
film.
were directed by the guy who did Men in Black.
Is that so?
They also there was a third straight to DVD ABC Family type one
Yeah, it didn't have all the actors. The original
With Tim
actors.
in which
Curry,
Tim
right?
Curry played
Yeah.
which you would think would be
I've seen it.
Lionel Richie.
you would
whatever
think
his
it would
name
be
is.
an upgrade. Gomez Adams.
Gomez, yeah.
Lionel
Who
Richie.
played Gomez in the original ones?
The guy who played
He passed away before.
Yeah, he's dead. The guy that played the Spanish guy in Street Fighter, the movie. He's an extremely famous actor. Street Fighter is definitely like if he's alive in his grave, he's just like no.
That's the two things they remember.
First of all, if he's alive in his grave, that is creepy as hell.
Spooky.
It'd be like if they were like, who was that Frankie Frayne guy? And they're like, the one who dressed up like a corn stalk. That's all I remember.
That's all that's in the record books.
Corn boy.
Corn boy.
Corn boy, they called him.
We don't know why.
He popped up every harvest festival, and we asked, "Do you like corn?" And he'd always say, "Not really."
Not really.
Candy corn, on the other hand, I'll give them a try if they're an M&M for 'em. All right, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
It was a zombie jamboree, took place in the New York cemetery. It was a